Thank you all for being here today. Today, I don't have anything planned necessarily. We're just going to talk about some general ideas when it comes to attenuating or dissipating frequency and some of the theory behind it, because a lot of you are at the point where this information could really, really benefit you. And it's so simple. I've been totally overthinking this for a long time. How to build the best, easiest shielding, or whatever you want to call it, a EMF armor. That's what I've been calling it. Because it's not really shielding. We are dissipating frequencies being sent to us, which are primarily magnetic, although some of it is dielectric. And I know I've talked about that before, but that goes into a bigger theory of how the properties of creation affect us. And basically, really quick, because we're gonna continue into this thought, is that you have neutral, which is right in the middle. If you can see me, I'm holding up my hand right in the middle. That's neutral. On one side, you've got magnetic. On another side, you've got dielectric. And Walter Russell, he called that the cosmic pendulum, I believe. That was Walter Russell. I always get Bill Russell and Walter Russell confused. One was a basketball player. The other one was a thinker. Anyways, he called that the cosmic pendulum. Tesla and Steinmetz, two guys with that theory, invented pretty much the modern electrical grid that we use today. There's a few other people involved in that. Schoenberger, all of his inventions came through that idea. Frank Orgone, from Orgone technology, all that type of stuff, the pyramids and all that. That's just capacitance. That's dielectric. And capacitance and dielectric are the same thing. Just one is the application of dielectricism, which again is the opposite of, it's not really the opposite, it's the stable form of magnetism. So you've got, I'll do this again, you got one side is dielectric, middle is neutral, and the other side is magnetic, and it's like a pendulum swinging, right? And when it's in the dielectric realm, the pendulum is very stable, and when it's in neutral, it's stable. When it's in magnetic, it's unstable, okay? So it's like the more dense something is here in this material plane, and I'll try not to get into this too far because I could talk about this ad nauseum. So fascinating. The more dielectric it has in it, like the more composition of dielectric forces it contains within it. So what are the most dielectric things? Well, rocks. The hardest rocks have the greatest capacitance of dielectricism just in the natural world. On the other side, the most magnetic things are the most unstable. So what's the most unstable thing? I don't know. Geez, I have to think about that. But, in the material form, was it like, I don't know, lava or something like that? Like, there's way more unstable stuff. Hot air, I guess. And it would have the most ability of inductance. It would be able to transfer the most dielectric energy put into it into a magnetic effect, a magnetic field, right? So like on one side you've got hot gas being the most magnetic of material that we experience on a regular basis. That could be hot air, by the way, because that's gas more or less. And then on the other side you've got rocks, which is the highest dielectric capacitance that we experience on a regular basis. And in the middle of all of this creation is more or less water. Water is a representation of neutral. We are primarily made up of water, right? So that we can hold a magnetic field and a dielectric capacitance as we need to function. If you run out of water, you die, right? As is true with all life. It's not just human beings, it's all animals and plants too. Because water is carrying that electrical ability to go back and forth on this cosmic pendulum, as Walter Russell said. Now, I know a lot of that seems mumbo-jumbo and not worth your time, but it's very much worth your time. Hold on a second. Let me just mute everybody. Hey, when you're not talking, please keep. There will be a point to all of this, okay? And it's right now. The point is going to come up because I could talk about it ad nauseum. So actually, thank you for interrupting me a little bit. When you are attenuating frequency, which is to say when you are building EMF armor, if you keep this in mind, that you are dealing with magnetic energies that are trying to create dielectric capacitance within you, pulses, right? You can feel those pulses sometimes. And that those pulses are interacting with another magnetic thing, heavy metals and nanoparticulate, to build these subcutaneous structures primarily, also in your organs like your brain, your heart, your liver, your kidney, so forth. Then you can really start to grasp that if I cut this off at any point, any level, right, then I will get relief from the targeting. What do I mean by that? When a magnetic field, it moves through the air. Well, this is how it works when you're targeting. 9 times out of 10. There's in Western world. In the developing world, so-called developing world, it's a little bit different. They don't have as many drones to use. But in the Western world, they've got a drone that's going around you, right? And it's beaming you as much as possible with the magnetic field. Sometimes dielectric too, mostly magnetic field, okay? So that magnetic field is interacting with you. It hits your skin, right? Your skin has been coated with nanoparticulate, whether that's from aerosols or it's from smart particles that have been encultured in your body and have grown from the outside, from the inside out. So that magnetic field is hitting a conductive shell, which is your skin, right? And your skin should not be conductive. So that's an issue right there. And the nanoparticulate and smart particles have done that. Okay, when that hits your conductive shell, it transfers the energy into these implants if you haven't deactivated them. Very, very, very small implants. It's not what you think it is, although sometimes it is, most of the time it's not. Very, very small ones. And from those implants, that magnetic energy goes into a dielectric capacitance, or which is to say electric, okay? Those are interchangeable, dielectric and electric. I will continue to use dielectric. Don't get confused by it. Magnetics, the unstable form, dielectrics, the stable form, yeah. And neutral is right in the middle. Again, you're neutral. You should be neutral. The more neutral you are, the better your wellness will be. So this magnetic field, which is unstable in its nature, hits you, gets converted into an electrical pulse. That pulses either through nanomachinery or implants or both into your body, which that pulse, it's a pulse that goes out, right? But that as it goes out, it's pulling material into it, okay? That's how these nanomachinery structures are being formed in your body. It's through the conversion of a magnetic field to a dielectric capacitance within your body. Okay, so I just said a lot. A lot of that's going to go over a lot of your guys' head, whatever. You know what I mean? What really matters is that if you understand that there's dielectric and magnetism, then how do I interact with those fields, right? What is a conductive material really? What is an insulative material really? And what is copper really? Okay, so I'm going to explain it to you right now. A conductive field always has, well, not always, but usually has, a conductive material usually has a dielectric capacitance associated with it. That's not always true. It's mostly true. For example, aluminum. And a sheet of aluminum by itself, if you put electricity into it, will act a little bit like a capacitor. Okay? Conductive materials have the potential to store dielectric energy. Okay? Insulative materials stop magneticism from going. It basically makes magneticism stable. Okay? And how do we know this? If I run electricity, and electricity as we know it, like in our walls, is the mating of dielectricism and magnetism in a oscillation, which is called polarization. See, I'm giving you way too much here. I'm gonna stop here in a second. The insulative material, it's making magneticism stable, or it's blocking it, right? That's another way of thinking of it. It can't always block it for a variety of reasons, right? Like if you had 1,000 different types, well, not 1,000, but every gradient different type of insulative material and you layered that, you would make some fairly effective shielding, okay? Eventually, though, the people that are doing this to you would take that magnetic charge that they're sending at you and marry it with a dielectric capacitance from a scalar weapon. That's what scalar is. It's dielectric, okay? And how they would do that is they would marry these two at the point that they're aiming for, and they would get the effect to go through your insulative shielding, all right? Because dielectricism or scalar waves are not stopped by insulative material. They are held in conductive material. Long story short, all right, I know that was too much for pretty much everybody. If you layer copper, insulation, and conduction in any order, you will eventually be able to deaden the attacks coming to you. All right? So what do I mean by that in a practical standpoint? If you're being beamed right now, you get some plastic wrap. Plastic wrap is the cheapest, best insulator for its insulation. I keep saying capacity, for its ability to insulate. All right, it's cheap and it insulates very, very well. You get some metal tape, which is aluminum with a sticky side. That's all metal tape is. Right there, you've got the best insulator and the best conductor for working with. If you start wrapping yourself with Saran wrap and then metal tape and then copper in any order, depending on how you're being attacked and what effect you're after, you are going to stop a lot of the symptoms that you're having. Now, if you deactivate the implants with the EMP stun gun and you detox nanomachinery, you're really cooking. At that point, you'll have a return to pre-targeting quality of life. Now, every day, right, these counterintelligence torture teams are going to adapt. Every day, that's their job. They have to try to get these weapons to resonate in you. You will need to figure out how you're going to layer these things and where you're going to put them for what effect, right? So you need to, it's a tic-tac-toe game. It's the tic-tac-toe game, and if you play it right, they'll never win. It doesn't matter if you go first or they go first. That's how tic-tac-toe works, right? If you understand the game, you can always make it a scratch or a cat's tail. What do they call it? Cat's tail? I can't remember. The one where nobody wins, right? And you can, which is winning, really. When you're not dying in this situation, you're winning. And anytime they can sink these energy weapons into you, you are not living, right? I mean, you might be surviving, but it's not living, having all this stuff be pumped into you. Okay, which brings me to the last concept I want to talk about. And please, I'm going to open this up to questions. Please keep it on point, and I'll try to explain this better for everyone that wants. The last point of this is that the nanomachinery and heavy metals and implants all are doing the same function. It's to make a sink, an energy sink, just like you have a faucet and a sink in your kitchen, and you open the water to the faucet and it goes down the drain, right? In the sink, down the drain. They're trying to put a drain into you, right? Where they can push energy into your area, and this drain or sink will capture it all inside of you and fill you up like a hot air balloon, okay? Like hot air into a balloon, I should say. Okay, so to recap very quickly, I know I've said a lot. Insulation, conduction, and copper. Copper does something special. Copper is neutrally aligned, okay? So insulation blocks magnetic fields or contains them. Conduction holds dielectric fields, and copper is neutrally placed, right? So you layer those in different sequences, and you'll get the most effect. You'll get a very large effect. It will change your life, even if you don't wish to do the other two things: detoxing nanomachinery and deactivating implants. If you choose to do all three, you'll get the most effect. Okay, the whole point of wearing the insulation and conduction, and copper layers is to stop an energy sink from being created in your body. How these energy sinks are created is with heavy metals and nanomachinery clumping around implants, or if you don't have the implants, clumping, right? Because it can still clump under a certain directed energy weapon influence that they will do after you deactivate the implants. Okay, that was a whole bunch of words, and I'm sorry if that seemed like word salad. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions about that. Please keep it on point because I really want to flesh this out for people. Okay? I really, really want to flesh it out. So if anybody's got any questions about what I've said, please open it up.
I went ahead and built the first shielding piece for my ankle. I put the plastic wrap on with the aluminum tape on the outside of it. I got my copper actually against my skin in the form of a copper wire spool. Does it matter where you put the copper is the question.
Well, whenever you're doing these layers, you want to layer them on top of each other because the copper will like dissipate the buildup of energy in the conductive layer. But you don't necessarily have to have the copper touching the inductive layer, or conductive. That's the metal tape, by the way. I'll just say it. You don't have to have.
I can feel the difference with it right now, and it's only been on my body for 5 minutes since you described it.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Okay, see, I've been making this complicated, and I'm sorry for that. I'm really sorry for that. I wish I had just thought about this.
It's a process. It's a process that you have to follow the recipe, or you don't get the cookies. You get something else. If you don't do the process correctly, it does not work.
Yep. So now JWO, now that you've got that, now experiment it with it on different parts of your body, and you'll see what I'm talking about more and more and more. Right? You'll feel these energies interacting with you. You'll start to feel the difference of a magnetic field and a dielectric field. Now, that's farther down the line, right? But as you get more and more knowledgeable about building these wearables, you can start using duct tape to keep these things together and different materials to make it more permanent, right? For example, instead of using...
Yeah, I got to get it into a situation where it's wearable. I can wear it to work without anybody seeing it. It's got to be under the clothes. That's a problem to get this going, because...
Well, okay, so this is what I was totally overthinking, is make it work for you, right? Saran wrap is sticky, it clings to you. You can use certain wires like Romex that hold a shape. You can use metal tape, you already are, that has that sticky side. And with those components, you can really put together just about any form that you can make work for you.
I put my camera on so you can see it.
Yep, just really simple, just to try it. Yep. Good job.
I don't know if you can see it or not.
No, I can see it. Yeah, I appreciate you trying.
And the wire is under here.
Okay, so don't get married to any one idea there. Just start mixing it up and start spreading that effect. Like, for example, you can take plastic wrap and wrap it around your midsection, And then you can use that as a base. Or you can take the copper wire first and wrap it around your midsection, then take the saran wrap it around the copper wire, and then take the metal tape and wrap it around that. You can do any which way to figure out what best works for you. What I've been doing is I've been taking pieces of copper and I've been putting them in a mat, duct taping that mat together so it has a nice form, and then layering that with plastic wrap and metal tape. But that's not necessarily the best. Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
Exactly. That wasn't necessarily the best way to do it. It just was working for me at that time. So you just always imagine this, plastic wrap, metal tape, and copper wire, and you're running. You're off to the races. However you want to apply that, you'll figure it out. you know? Was there anybody?
Very good project.
Go ahead, Charlie.
One problem I had with the copper wire is my hair turned green
from
the copper. So that's kind of a problem.
Use insulated wire then.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I think that's copper poisoning. I think it's getting into my blood. Possibly. I don't know why the hair turned green.
Well, yeah. A lot of the time that happens in the shower, but I don't really know. I mean, you would know better than me why your hair was turning green. I shaved my head, but even before, I never had anything like that happen. I had my skin turn bluish at some points, but never green. Anyways, use insulated wire, and you won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. Yeah, because I'm using bare copper wire.
Okay,
so, I could wrap it up in aluminum foil. I think I'd be okay if I just wrap it in aluminum.
Well, I would say go out and get yourself some Romex. It's so cheap. You can get 250 feet of it for $100, give or take. That's you're talking about 30 cents a foot. That's got more copper content than just about anything in it. It's covered nicely, and whenever it's easier to wear on the skin, it feels much better. Anytime the insulated wire comes in contact with a magnetic field directed dielectric, scalar weapons, whatever, it actually works better. It works better when it's insulated. So it's better for you. It feels better, and it's very cheap. Get the Romex or something like it when you have a chance. And you know what? Beyond the Romex, Charlie, is that when you get beyond that, it makes it's thicker and it holds shape much better because there's 3 wires in it. So you can actually get it to stay on you a lot easier too.
And you can wrap that with aluminum?
Tape?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I first brought forth this information, Charlie, you built the rings, right? Because that's how I first did it. And that was only I think 5 months ago, I figured that out, or something like that. It's not that long. And long story short, you did it, and you got benefit from it. Okay, now take what you know, right? It was copper, aluminum or metal tape, and Saran wrap in layers. And now ignore the ring part of it, right? Just ignore that part of it and think about how could I apply those 3 materials to wherever I want to apply it. Do I want to make a vest? Do I want to make a pair of shorts? You could do anything. You literally could do anything if you just open your mind to the possibilities of using, a copper with structure and Saran wrap and metal tape. You could potentially make yourself a suit of armor, a full suit of armor, and walk around and live in it like a knight. It would end your targeting, or a lot of it, and then they would adapt a little bit, and then you would need to refigure out your layers.
Yeah, I mean, before this started, I had a full head of hair, and now my front part of my skull is pretty much, it's bare. So I'm losing my hair. So I may be like you soon. Shave it off.
Yeah, shave it off, man. You'll feel better.
Very depressing losing your hair.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm losing mine by choice, but when you shave your skin, you're taking conductivity off of you, right? Because that's the nanotech is plaquing a conductive layer on you. So that's the first thing that we can approach when we're breaking off the contact with the weapons. If we know our skin is conductive because it's got crap on it, whether that comes from aerosols or nanowalkers or both, or it's growing from the inside and going out to our skin, we can cover ourselves with an insulator, which is plastic wrap. We can literally take plastic wrap and wrap our bodies in it, and then wrap that with copper or metal tape or whatever, some conductor. Mylar blankets is another great conductor. Silver fabric's another great conductor if you're looking for something to drape over you. And then, you know,
Okay.
then you're making your whole body into this inductor capacitor circuit. So you're just going to repeat that process, and you're going to mix it up, and you're going to figure out where, when, and how. And it's going to be a tic-tac-toe game, and you're going to, this is the rules of the game. I'm telling you the rules of the game so that you can always scratch, so that you can, which is winning in our book, right? When you don't have this heavy metal clumped in you, you're doing good. When they haven't made your body into an energy sink, right, which is to say a drain, which is to say when they can't pump you from the outside in full of energy, you are doing well. I'm sorry, I'm so excited, Charlie.
It's good. I like enthusiasm, right?
Yeah, it's a total breakthrough in thought, and it just happened. You know, this whole week I was going to make that armor video like I was talking about. I was going to show you exactly how to do the copper mat and then layer it with the plastic and the metal. And something was telling me, don't, just wait, just wait, just wait. And I waited all week, and I got this information, and I know that's why I waited, to tell all of you.
So the Lomax, is that with the L or R?
Romex. It's Romex. That's the brand. Okay. What it is, the wire, it's 3-strand. It will say it's 2-strand though. That's the whole thing. It's just housing wire. You don't have to buy the Romex brand. You can buy housing wire. And you can buy that in 14 gauge, 16 gauge, or 12 gauge. It doesn't matter really. More copper, the better.
So here's the upgrade.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see this or not, but I added the layer of copper foil around it.
Okay, now see that same idea, right? And you can use copper foil. Copper foil is great, by the way, because that's even easier to work with than wire, because it's got a sticky side.
Yeah, they're not hitting me here. They're hitting me in the toes up here. They're hitting me up here in the top of the foot. This is where they like to hit me, and they're doing it now. They're doing it right now.
Okay, so take that same idea and spread it all across your midsection, and you'll get the most effect. And it's like, well, how would that stop them hitting my foot? Trust me, when you resolve the midsection of your body, it will have a mass effect everywhere. So take that same, yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Back to work.
Awesome, though. I love your initiative. Great job. This is the idea. This is the idea that's going to get all of you through this. Has anybody else got any questions? Please do.
I've got to add something, Andrew, for JWO. What he could do is, well, what I've done that I found really effective is to use exactly the same principle with foil and sellotape, roll it up into a little tube and put it between your toes, and that has been amazing for exactly the same problem.
That's great, Kate. What you just said, translated to what I understand, is that you figured out a specific solution using the same principles for a specific problem you were having. Great application. But cover your midsection, you'll get the most effect. Do both, though, you know? Please, I want people to be asking me questions. This should be huge, right? If you're listening, okay, go ahead.
So you're saying with the copper wire, you have to, like, wrap it around yourself. So when you're wrapping it around, is the copper, it's touching itself, right?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it can be. It doesn't really matter too much.
Well, I'm just thinking because for me, I live in Florida. It's really hot here. So, like, I would have to make something I can take off. I can't just, like, make it, like, wrap it around myself. I would have to, like, make, like, a vest or something. So, I'm just trying to figure out, like, how I can make this. So say you're making a vest. How can you incorporate the copper wrapping?
Okay, that's a great question. This is the video I was going to make, and this is perfect for your hot weather application. You take the copper and the wire, and you cut it into lengths of below your, let's say, at your collarbone, down to about an inch below your belly button. All right, so however long that is, that's the length of wire that you're going to cut. You're going to make about, I don't know, enough to cover from roughly nipple to nipple, excuse me for the crudity of that. That's about the space. Anything larger than that, and you're going to have problems with your arms. And so you're going to cut that wire and that length, and then you're going to cut as many that fills that space. So what I mean by this is you're going to put them down on the, like in a practical way, you're going to put them on a table, all these cut pieces of wire, and it's going to be as wide as your chest, right? And then you're going to tape it together. Use duct tape or whatever tape you've got that's strong enough. Now you've got a solid piece of copper mat. At that point, you layer it with Saran wrap and metal tape, and you've got the same idea, but now you can take it off and on, no problem. Okay.
Well, you're saying they're
go ahead.
You're saying they're vertical. They're all cut vertically, so they're.
Yep.
But then they're not touching each other.
Okay. Well, they will be spaced out a little bit, right? But the effect of the copper, it does increase when there's a conductivity between the wires. Like if you had like a copper tape or whatever, like the other person had, a copper foil tape to connect the copper like that and then duct tape it, it would be even better. But let's just say you don't, it's not a big deal. You get that copper in the length running lengthwise with your.
Is it possible? Can you draw like a quick little doodle of what you're saying?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
No problem. I understand this is complicated. It's just because it's the first time you're hearing it. But the application of this is endless. So let's just continue this idea a little bit further as I draw this. Saran wrap, metal tape or aluminum foil, whatever you have, and copper. And you're in a hot environment, okay? So if you're in a hot environment and your skin is conductive, the easiest thing to do is to promote sweat, okay? So with this in mind, if you use Saran wrap and wrapped it around your body first and started producing lots of sweat, knowing that you're going to take it off within 4 hours, 6 hours, that will help you tremendously open your pores, all right, and get your skin functioning more like it should. But I'm drawing this right now. And then you would wear this vest over that Saran wrap, and it would be a huge effect. It would help you very much. Okay, so if you can see this picture, for everyone that can't, I just drew a very basic T-shirt, and I drew lines going down the middle of it. The lines going down the middle of it is the cut copper wire. Okay, that's all I was explaining. That cut copper wire, you would connect to each other with tape, and then you layer that with plastic wrap and metal foil. Did that make sense?
So with the aluminum tape?
Yeah. The metal tape is aluminum.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. It seems more complicated than it is. You just get going. However, you can make it work. What's great about the copper using that is that you're right, Gabriella. You can take it on and off. You can keep a form. Now, let's say you made the front piece, just like we just talked about, a nice square with a little bit extension. This is what I did, right? I made a nice square, and I made a little extension for the shoulders just to cover the shoulders a little bit more. And then I did the same thing for the back, all right? So now I've got two pieces. Then I used duct tape to connect the two pieces, and then it looked like what I had was bulletproof armor, like the same thing a cop would wear under their shirt when I was all done. Did that make sense? I'm sorry, I've just talked a lot. I'm excited.
And you're using the insulated wire, the Romex.
Yes, using the insulated wire for function, ease, and efficiency. But that being said, Gabriella brought up a good point. If we connect that, if you're using uninsulated wire and you connect that with a copper foil or other copper, then the copper itself will function better. So, Charlie, if you want to use your unshielded wire, you know, in that way, by all means do it. And then you will cover it with plastic wrap and metal tape and duct tape eventually. And then I use duct tape to seal the whole thing together because duct tape makes a permanent product.
You use the duct tape to cover everything.
Yeah.
The duct, yeah.
Can you show on the doodle how you would incorporate the Saran wrap and the aluminum tape?
So on the doodle, okay, hold on. First thing I do is I cut the wires lengthwise, or not lengthwise, excuse me. I cut them so that I wear them lengthwise. All right? And then I duct tape them together. So right below here, I've got the wires that are cut. Now I'm duct taping them together, and I'm just drawing these little squares to show you how I do that until it's nice, one solid mat that can bend, right? Because it can bend it can have like a wave function. You kind of need that when you're wearing it for it to be able to bend in a convex manner, which is to say like a C shape, okay? Because your body is actually more C-shaped than you would think, or at least than I thought. So that's those squares is the duct tape connecting it. At this point, what I do is I take the Saran wrap roll, and I literally just roll it over both sections, over the front and back is what I mean, of this mat that I've built, right? And now I've got it covered. It's a square piece. Well, here, I'll use the actual notebook so I'll describe what I'm saying. It's a square piece like this notebook, right? When I've got it all duct taped, I'm wrapping the Saran wrap around it, preferably one layer, and then I'm wrapping the metal tape around that, preferably one layer. And then I'm doing that 2 or 3 times, alternating Saran wrap, metal tape, Saran wrap, metal tape, which is to say aluminum tape, same thing. And then when it's all said and done, I've got the copper mat covered with 3, maybe 4, maybe 2 layers of plastic wrap alternating with metal tape. I cover that in duct tape to keep it all nice and compact in a final product that I can take on and off. And I've made this. I've got one in, not currently on me, but I'm not wearing it right now. Because I figured out the bigger thing, which is just layering this however you need it when you need it.
So there's no copper is actually touching your body. The only thing that's touching your body is the duct tape.
No, in this moment right now, the only thing touching my body is Saran wrap. Earlier today, the only thing touching my body was copper, was the shield, the insulation of the copper wire, which would do, you're right, duct tape. It was duct tape. See what I mean?
You were talking about when you cover everything up with duct tape, the only thing that's touching your body is the duct tape.
Yeah, but also I'm using the conductive layer of Mylar or silver. I've got some holographic, what's the right way to say that? I've got some cloth that's got metallic foil printed on it, and I use that also. So really I have a conductive layer touching my skin, an insulative layer touching my skin right this second, as I did yesterday or earlier today. And I'll mix and match this till the end of time. You know, like if tomorrow they decide to use a more powerful magnetic weapon, then I will have a corresponding, I will rearrange my layers in a trial basis until I get it right. You know what I mean? Or I'll know right off the bat what to do. It's hard to know because I'm not aiming the weapon systems at me. You know what I mean? I can only feel them, right? So that's another thing that needs to be said, is that you are feeling these fields when you start to get a hang of this, and that's a big part of it. You'll feel the weapon systems interacting with you. You'll know more or less with time how to respond to this. I'm into this now 7 months doing it like this, give or take. And this is where I am now. So don't expect to get where I am immediately, but you will much quicker than I did with these pointers.
Andrew, how can you incorporate the Mylar? Can you mix Mylar with the with foil and the copper?
So the Mylar is acting as the conductive layer. The Mylar is doing a similar thing as the metal tape, right? So think about it in this sense, like if I wanted to create a capacitor effect across my whole body, then I would Saran wrap my midsection or wherever I want this effect to take place, wear the metal foil, or not the metal foil, but the Mylar blanket or metallic foil cloth over it, which is what I've got, and I've got Mylar, and then I would put the copper wire over that, right? And I guess that's not a whole capacitor, that's the capacitor inductor effect, but I've just reversed the order for my needs at that moment. I'm sorry, did I talk past your question?
No. So the shiny side of the Mylar would be to your body.
Yeah, but it would be better. So if you've got only one side that's metallic in the Mylar blanket that you're using, then you would want that to be your last layer to connect everything underneath it, right? Because, I mean, I know I'm getting a little bit off on this, but we are just building circuits. We are building circuits using these materials to dissipate frequencies. So we need to think in those terms, right? So it's not really about layering in the sense of like, oh, if I just get these 3 layers on, it will help me. That's shielding. That's not what we're doing. We think about it like the metal part of the Mylar blanket is going to connect to or around the copper. The copper is going to try to resonate things to neutral. The insulative layer is going to keep the magnetic field from the outside in affecting our conductive, and from the inside out our conductive skin, which is, I know that was a bunch. I'm sorry. This is the type of things that when you get going, mixing and matching these, you'll kind of figure out just knowing what I'm talking about, the principles behind it.
Yeah, so what I have going now is I have the copper mesh wrapped in Saran wrap with copper tape, and it's inside a beanie with Faraday material, Faraday fabric.
Uh-huh.
But I think the Mylar, I want to try that with the copper, not foil, just the Mylar, and see how that works.
Okay, definitely try that, because that's a great idea. And while you're at it, if you want, wrap your body with Saran wrap too, and I bet you the effect will be increased. You don't have to. It's just something to experiment. Definitely do that and aim to cover, and this is for everybody, when you're doing these things, we all want to cover what's being hurt the most, and that makes sense, right? Our head or our feet, right? That's usually what it is, or our genitals, okay? The majority of the effect being generated in you is happening from your right here, which if you can't see me, right below your chin, to right above your genitals, right in that area. Your genitals really is the bottom of that area, your organ sac. So, long story short, cover your experiment with your organ sac for the most effect. Wear these things in your midsection primarily, and then from there kind of branch out, and you'll get much more out of your efforts.
So in the meantime, what I have as far as supplies, I could use speaker wire because that's got like 2 lines of copper in it, with the Saran wrap and the Mylar for the body.
Yep, there you go. And then later on, you get the Mylar emergency blanket. You can buy them, I don't know, $2 or $3 Walmart or something like that.
Yeah, I have those.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, you could get going literally right now as we talk. So if you want to, right now as we talk, do you have plastic wrap in your house?
I do. Big
Okay,
rolls.
perfect. Awesome, perfect. Okay, if you want to right now experiment with what I'm saying and then come back to me before we sign off for the day. We're only in an hour right now. Take some Saran wrap, wrap it around your midsection, okay? Then cover that with the Mylar blanket. How you'll do that is you'll cut a hole in the top of it and make a poncho out of it. Use some tape to make sure that the Mylar doesn't continuously rip. You know what I mean? Because it'll just want to rip. Once you cut it, it'll just want to fall apart. So you're going to need tape to reinforce it. Then so Saran wrap over your midsection, Mylar blanket like a poncho, and then wrap that in the speaker wire and then come back to us. Should take you 20 minutes. You're going to be blown away if you do it, if you want to do it.
I may do it later, but now I wrote down what you said.
Okay.
Saran wrap.
Please do it
can't
right
because
now.
I have people over.
Gotcha.
I'm in a back room. Yeah, it's a little tricky, but it's wrap in Saran wrap, Mylar poncho, speaker wire. And that'll be my go-to outfit.
Well, this is just your first try, right? That's the easiest way to do it right here, right now. But you could potentially change the layering, right? And you could actually, like, think about this. This could be another layering. You use the Mylar blanket first. You put the Saran wrap just over the Mylar blanket. It would get hot, though. The Mylar blanket in your midsection. Oh, so first Mylar blanket, second Saran wrap, then copper wire, then metal tape, and then potentially more copper wire or an insulator, then more Saran wrap, and then more copper wire. You see what I mean? If they up the frequencies or they change them around on you, all you got to do is figure out how I get more layers on or how I change the ordering of the layers for effect.
I can make a few different versions and see what works.
Yep, and it's tic-tac-toe. And it's as long as you're in the mindset that this is what I do, unfortunately, I'm sorry. I am really sorry that we're all going through this at the end of the day. But this is what I do to survive, then you're playing for that scratch. You're playing for that even Stevens, which is winning in your book, right? When you're not being tortured, when that's not working anymore, you are winning, right? So don't think about it like, I'm going to do it this one time and I'm going to arrive and I'm not going to have to deal with it anymore. Think about it as like, this is something I do now. It's another habit. It's like, it takes less time than makeup. That sounded really sexist. I didn't mean it to be. But it takes less time than a lot of grooming. And if you think of it like grooming, then it's like, okay, it's not too bad. It's just something I got to do.
Yeah, but I'm going to do because I have the beanie thing going. I already have one made because it's my head that hurts a lot and the feet. You're right. It's the feet too.
That's where, and the reason for that is because they create these long nano chains or heavy metal clumps in our body, like I was talking about earlier. So that from usually your left foot up to the left side, the top of your head, a little bit to the left, is polarizable, meaning that this voltage can be sent through your whole body, right? And so we'll feel the effect most in the ends of that nano particulate heavy metal chain. But the main generation of this, where the main force is being generated is from the head to the foot. It's not at the head or the foot. It's from those two areas. So working backwards from there, the majority of the mass that you have is in your midsection. And that's why I say, yeah, I understand, I hear you, you got people over. But when you get the chance, you'll get much more experimenting with your midsection than you will your head or your feet.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the mid. I mean, I'll have some time tomorrow. I'm going to do, or later this evening, because I got the materials. I don't have aluminum tape, but I have aluminum foil, and I have copper tape, and copper wire, speaker wire, Mylar. So I want to experiment, but I'll do the body, what you were showing on the T-shirt drawing. I'll do that first.
That was great. There's only room to grow into this information, but it's brand new, and it's a whole new. You're gonna feel an effect, So it's all gonna be brand new. Did you want to show us something?
Who, me? I just turned my camera on. I can't spread the Saran wrap out enough because the static keeps grabbing it and pulling it this direction. It's pulling it towards the stove. This area at the stove is a problematic area in here. Now watch when I hold the magnet up. Watch when I hold the magnet up to the Saran wrap. Watch. See, it's magnetically, like the Saran wrap is magnetically charged or something. It's electrically charged, and I can't work with the material.
Okay, here, listen.
Crinkling up.
Listen.
watch when I let it go.
No, I hear you. I see you too.
Cool.
Okay, hey, I love that you're showing us that. It's great for everyone to understand that these insulators are electrically connected to what's happening around us, okay? So thank you very much for that. How you work with the Saran wrap is keep it on the roll. Roll it out over whatever you need to use it. It's the easiest way. Just keep it on the roll. Don't cut it beforehand.
This is a wide piece. It's wide. It's shrink wrap.
Keep it on the roll, and then roll it over whatever you're trying to apply it to. Does that make sense? Oh, I can
get another roll. I can get another roll if this don't work out.
Okay, yeah, but keep it on the roll and it should be fine. You'll figure it out.
I just had a quick question about the Saran wrap. Have you done any experimenting with the kinds of Saran wrap, the regular commercial Saran wrap, or I have compostable cling wrap, and I was wondering if you have tried to compare them, or if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's a great question. It needs to be the classic plastic wrap or Saran wrap because that's made out of PVC or a mode of PVC. I forget, polyvinyl I can't remember what it stands for, but it's a great insulator. It literally is an electrical grade insulator. It's fantastic, and it's so cheap you can get it anywhere for nothing.
So you're seeing the PVC as a key ingredient.
Yeah, and that's the basic plastic wrap that you'll get for $3, not the composite one. It's not good to put over your food. It probably has some bad health effects to have it on your skin, but it's infinitely better using that plastic wrap, Saran wrap, than getting continuously tortured. So it's one of those, it's like aluminum. I kind of put it in the same category. It's like, be aware, it's not great for you, but at the same time, it's like, what's more dangerous, right?
Thanks for taking the question.
You're welcome. That was a great question. Yeah, it needs to be that PVC style, the old style. Go ahead, Charlie.
I've seen on Amazon that someone's selling a poncho, mylar poncho. So.
Oh, great. Yeah, but what's great about using just an emergency blanket is that you can get them anywhere, and then you just use tape, and it keeps it from splitting. But they do break. Good point, Charlie. Okay, hey, do we got any more questions? Come on, people. We should be excited about this.
Andrew, I have a question for you. This is Jacqueline.
Hey, Jacqueline.
Hey, so I made what I believe you call the mat, where I did several layers of Saran wrap and foil. Could I cut, because it's like 4 feet long, could I cut that in half, tape copper wire on top of it, and then tape that to the front and the back midsection?
Yes, but when it comes to the metal layers and plastic layers, you need to keep those separate for those to work as effectively as they should, right? So what do I mean by that is when you cut it all in half, you're going to be cutting those layers. So you need to go into each layer and make sure that the metal is not touching the metal of another layer, and it should work fine.
Okay, if I don't cut it and I just take, because the copper wire, it's magnetic copper wire and it's very thin. It's kind of my first order of it. It's very thin. So would I take several pieces of copper and just tape it all along and then wrap that around my midsection without cutting it? Would that work?
Well, using magnetic copper wire kind of defeats the point.
Okay.
But I haven't done it myself, so I can't really tell you. From a theory standpoint, I wouldn't want to use it, but from a practical application, I wouldn't know. To your question, so I wouldn't do that. I would just use regular copper wire. But ask your question again with that in mind.
So I want to wrap it around my midsection. I still have to go get the black tape and kind of seal off the outer layer. If I only have magnetic copper, so that's not a good idea to use that then?
I don't think so, but maybe it is. I don't know. I've never used it.
So don't get magnetic copper wire.
Yeah, I don't know what benefit it being magnetic would give you. But it might. I don't know. I just haven't thought about it. I need time to think about it.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Because we're thinking about this like we're building a circuit. We're not thinking about these just in layers. We're thinking about how do these things go together to get the effect that we want for any given area at any given time.
And it would not be effective with just the foil and the Saran wrap. There would have to be some type of wiring.
It would be somewhat. It would give you something. I'm not sure what that something is. It depends what frequencies are interacting with you and the level of energy of those frequencies. The amplitude.
I get a lot of burning on my left side of my back. That's where I get targeted a lot in my head. It's like it hurts, it burns. So
take the plastic wrap as the first layer, and then and then use the foil over that, and then plastic wrap, and then foil, and then plastic wrap and foil. So you have 3 layers total, alternating, and see what happens just over your upper back.
Okay.
See if that helps you. If it doesn't help you, it'll be adding wire will definitely help. Definitely.
And does cable, I guess I'm lacking the wire piece of it. I thought magnetic copper was good, so I'll get rid of that. Does cable, like what you plug your teeth, does that work at all, or is that not a good one?
What type of cable?
It's just the cable that you plug into your TV, into the wall. Does that have any?
Yeah.
It does, okay.
That has copper in it. And don't, like I said, I don't know about the magnetic wire. Don't throw it away. Maybe you experiment with it after you get that Saran wrap and metal or the insulative and the conductive layers going. Then you throw the wire on there and then maybe you take it off. You put it. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. You know what I mean? You'll figure it out.
I did put it on my head. I took 3 strands and just kind of wrapped them together just because it's so thin. Mm-hmm. And I could tell that they were messing with it because as soon as I put it on my head, kind of wrapped around the top of my head, I instantly felt better. But then within seconds, it didn't feel so great. So then I would take it off, mm-hmm. and it almost felt better taking it off. So I think that has to do with them being aware of what I'm doing.
Probably not if it was that fast. What happened probably is that there was frequency interacting with your head already, obviously. And mm-hmm. when you put that on, it changed the field. And then eventually the copper, the magnetism being emitted from the copper wire built up to a point where the field, you felt it hurting you. So it just charged it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably what happened. I don't know for sure.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome. But yeah, with these three components, an insulative layer, a conductive layer, and copper, you can, it's open season. You can figure it out. You know? Does anybody have any other questions?
Well, the purpose, vehicles are driving by and the Saran wrap is moving when they drive by, and they're out in front. They're a good 20 yards up front, out on the front street. They're driving by, they're nuking the house, and the Saran wrap is physically moving when they drive by the house. That's evidence.
Okay, so hey, great observation. I'm going to explain this. There's two things happening with that Saran wrap moving around. One is that they are releasing aerosols. And when those cars, this is why they do this. They put chemical substrates in their gas tank, so that when they drive, it goes from their gas tank, these aerosols, through the combustion engine and out the exhaust. At that point, it becomes superheated, this particulate, and they can move it into your breezeways and your breathways. When you breathe that stuff, it helps build the heavy metal nanomachinery sinks that I was talking about earlier, right? The ability for them to lock onto you. Okay, so they're wherever they are, the guy who's running the shift, and it's usually a guy, not always usually, there's probably 5 to 7 of these human traffickers, maybe more, maybe less, usually about that, on their team, maybe 9, maybe 10, right? It depends what area you're in and how bored they are, more or less. They're hearing you learn this, right? And they're seeing you apply this information. So the guy made the call. He said, this is exactly how it works. He goes, fucking nuke them, or whatever, profanity, bullcrap they're saying. And so they get all their cars revved up, and they start circling the block. And they're trying to make this big gas cloud, okay? So that's the first thing that's going on, is this big gas cloud that you can't see is interacting with your breath, right? You're breathing it. The second thing that's going on is that the Saran wrap is an insulator, and like I said, it repels magnetic field, right? So there's so much magnetism in your area, either from the aerosol particulate that's magnetized, moving around, or from the beam-like weapons that are coming from the drones. Either way, that Saran wrap could be rippling just from that. It's probably both, though. Did that make sense?
Kinda, but not really, because I've got major air filters over the windows, and I got this whole place has got air filters everywhere, and this is an interaction with the wiring in the building. Now I'm going to start cutting wiring to see if this backs off. I already cut 2 wires. I threw one 220 breaker, and I'm gonna cut the stove in about 1 minute here because I'm that upset with it. It's pulling towards the stove.
Yes, both things are true. The electrical fields, or the magnetic fields that your electricity produce, is utilized against you. The beam-like weapons piggyback off of it. Okay, so that very much does play a part. Right? It adds to the second thing I was talking about, with the ambient magnetic fields and the Saran wrap interacting with it. The first thing is still definitely happening. So the aerosols are still being released around you, and you're still breathing them. Guaranteed. This is every target, wherever you're at. If you're in the third world, what they do is they put it into big bonfires.
They have these vehicles they bring around here. They got modified exhaust systems, and they have like cherry bomb mufflers that pop, 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 pop when they come by. They come by, and they wait till I'm in line with them, and they shove. They go pop, 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 yeah, pop, pop, pop. Yeah, they do that shit to us all the time here,
Yep.
And I think I thought it was just to harass us. But there's another component to that, so I got the noise campaign to deal with on top of all this ice spray foam.
Exactly.
Foam insulated.
That's
I spray
exactly.
foam insulated all the any breaches in the window or any things could get through the window, I got cans of foam in the window and layers of metal over the window, and that's not enough. I had to stuff aluminum foil in all the breaches where they could get little beads of light in here, and that's not enough. So yeah, the Saran wrap is still moving when they drive by in the perp vehicles. The Saran wrap is moving.
I've got the same thing going on where I am right now. All right, there's a car engine right outside right now, and they're revving. And as they're revving, right, there's a few things going on. The aerosols are coming out their exhaust, but I already got aerosols being released. Primarily what's going on, which you're talking about with harassment, is that they are syncing the directed energy weapons to interact with me at the exact same frequency of the sound that they're producing. All right? It's a way to tie your physical symptoms into the things that are happening in your environment, right? So that you become, quote, triggered and whatnot. So all of those things are true. It's layers upon layers upon layers.
Are you protected with air filters in your car from those aerosols?
No air filters will protect you from these aerosols because they're using very, very small particulate. It's like sub-micro.
I drive a moped, so there's zero filters for me.
Yeah, I'm not aware. If somebody figures that out, please let me know. That would help a lot of people greatly.
Oh, hey, I have a question. Thank you for talking about all these aerosols. How are you today? And thanks.
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Okay, so it's about all everything that they're spraying. Oh yes, I've been hanging on to the fan and just hoping that it does something. But I thought maybe somebody said once you use the fan a certain amount, then maybe they'll go away. But is it like another agenda? Maybe it used to be that way, and now they just want to keep on blitzing you with as much things to make you, like you're saying, overcome with all the nano. Because how well did the fans stop them from flying over?
No,
right?
The fan just helps you. And I still have my fan going. Literally, if you can see my screen, you can't because you're calling in, but if you could see my screen, you would see a ceiling fan spinning in the background. That ceiling fan has got copper on it, and it's producing effect. It's not that it doesn't work. It's just that as you do anything, right, this is what their job is. They are professional modern-day slavers. They are going to adapt, right? And if you do the fan, right, they are going to increase the aerosols in your environment, potentially. They might change the frequency sets. They might change the amplitude of energy being sent your way. They're going to do all of those things necessary. This is their job. This is what they do. They don't have any qualms. Oh, that's not true. Most of them don't have any qualms with any of it, right? Most of them are totally fine killing women or children, old people, young people, does not matter. There is no one solution to any of this. The only solution is that I see as of right now, and please, prove me wrong. Present me some other information. Is the education that we're presenting here today, and that's deactivating implants. Number one, wearing these demagnetizable wearables. So the DIY wearables. That's what we've been talking about today. And number three, detoxing nanomachinery. When you do those three things on a regular basis, knowing that they're going to try to adapt every day and that you're going to have to mess with your wearables a lot, then you'll have more relief, or you will overcome the directed energy weapons. You'll still feel them interact with you. Like as of right now, I feel them interact with me. It's just that I'm not debilitated by it.
Okay. Yep. I need to continue with that process.
Yep. It's like learning how to do something complicated, like drive a race car or mountain bike or something like that. Ski. We're in the classroom, and I'm telling you, roughly how this goes. You've still got to go out there and do it.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thanks a lot. God bless. I'm going to be in touch.
God bless. Thank you for the question. It's great.
Thank you.
Andrew, you talk about fasting, like doing a water and a food fast, but I'm wondering, because I'm pretty sure, the food at the grocery store is, there's a bunch of heavy metals, from the chemtrails being sprayed, that, nothing is really safe from, you want to eat healthy, you want to, buy fruits and veggies, but the stuff at the grocery store is probably full of the heavy metals. Is there something that you recommend eating, or, do you buy from certain places? What does your diet look like?
My diet as of right now is garbage. I've been totally affected by the holiday season, right? As a lot of us have. So it's almost a good thing, right? That I can convey that to you. You are 100% right that a lot of the food is not of the quality to eat an alkaline diet. If you're looking for that quality, you need to buy direct from farmers in your area. They're definitely out there. You can definitely do it. You can live off what was in season. I've done that before. That being said, I'm not doing it right now for a variety of reasons. I don't have the money. I don't got the time. And a lot of this food is now being poisoned by FBI contractors at the farm. All right? They're literally paying. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so what do I do is your question. What I do is wearables. And when those wearables get overwhelmed, I fast. I detox heavily, right? I kind of know where I'm at any point by how the directed energy weapons are interacting with me.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Great question, though. Great question. Since COVID, or roughly give or take, a year before to a year after, give or take, depending where you are, the food became much more heavily tampered with at the factory level. I used to be able to go to the big grocery store in the area and live off of avocado. I know this makes me sound like I'm a granola eater, a hippie or whatever. Avocado is really good for you if you can find clean avocado. Avocado and bananas and, what else did I used to eat? A lot of lettuce. All very, very good for you for a variety of reasons, alkaline diet stuff. I used to live off that, and I had no problem with it. It wasn't until, and I was very quick in the store. I don't know if you heard me talk about that, but when you're buying these things, anything at the store, you want to be very quick, because just like they put aerosols into gas tanks, they also release aerosols when you're in the grocery store and try to poison your food before you even buy it, right? And if you think that's happened, just, you're being surrounded, you're being mobbed. Anytime they're mobbing you, they're also spraying your food. The mob is a distraction for the spraying of food, 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100. If you ever feel like that's happened to you, just leave the food, go someplace else, try again. Maybe wait till later that day, or, you can always try again later. Just walk away. Let them, put the food back on the shelf, unfortunately. But the next person won't have the same symptoms like you did if you eat it. I did that for years, eating just fresh vegetables from the grocery store. Since COVID, since September, here in the Portland area, it was August to October of 2022, almost all the food became poisoned, all the fresh food. I believe the majority of that was happening at distribution at that point. So they were getting it while it was in warehouses, and the local FBI and FBI contractors were on security contracts with these warehouses through backroom deals, or they were breaking in, or both. I know they do both. And they were spraying all the food by basically turning on a car engine in an enclosed area that had the particulate in the gas, or some variant of that, right? And so they were getting all the produce that way. Now, I think primarily what they're doing is they're getting the produce at the factory level with these chemical coatings. And I don't know this 100%, but this is just what I think most positive of it. Like the upheal, like the Bill Gates initiative to spray all the food, the waxes, the parabens, whatever they use to seal the fruits and vegetables now, I think a lot of it has got the nanotech and heavy metal or chemical substrates that operate like heavy metals in our body. So long story short, to answer your question, how I eat is I eat very carefully when I do. I'm always cognizant of, do I think this got sprayed when it was purchased? Do I think this got sprayed in distribution? Do I think it's a food that gets sprayed at the factory level? The most toxic food always is going to be the stuff that's sprayed in your near proximity, whether that's during a break-in or while you're buying it. The second most toxic food is going to be corporate food from fast food sources, McDonald's being number one by far, and then all the other ones following it. But McDonald's is just so toxic. Taco Bell's up there really high too. The next most toxic food is going to be the corporate pre-manufactured food. Like if you were going to get like a breakfast sausage sandwich from like a Jimmy Dean's or something like that, it'd be chock full of this crap. From there, you've got diminishing values of metals, nanomachinery, heavy metals. Just depends. By product and by brand. It's hard to know, off the top of my head, any given particular one.
I'm really creeped out by the nano walkers. Do those things have like a shelf life? Like, do they become inactive after being in the environment for a certain time, do you think? Or do they just sort of wait? Like, are they like indefinitely able to latch on to DNA? Like,
Well, yeah, you've done your homework. Great job. Great question. The nanowalkers, as far as I can tell, stay in the environment that they're sprayed into, either from a break-in or an aerosol released in your environment, for about a year, give or take.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. If you shield yourself appropriately, I had for years, I would make sure that nothing of my stuff ever got broke into. If my clothes got sprayed in public, because they were doing that to me for a while, like 2 years, I'd go out in public, they'd spray my clothes. Some contractor or some dumb informant would spray this crap on me, having no idea, how dangerous it was to themselves. But I would go home and I'd throw it away. Eventually, what they ended up figuring out was how to put it in an aerosol that they released from my one of their trap houses next to me. So it gets breezed into my house on a continuous basis, like literally 24/7 at this point. Just because I'm doing everything I'm doing. They're like just trying to contain me in any way possible. But still, everything I said holds true. If you work on nanowalkers, what they do is they deposit nanomachinery, right? So they're just like building a very rapid, very thin layer of nanomachinery. It's manageable if you understand that. And how I manage that is with pulsed electromagnetic fields, the high voltage EMP. I built one that I put into a bedding that I sleep on, because I'm constantly getting these breezes of this interacting with me. So I have to manage it as best I can. And then, which a lot of you don't experience, which, be thankful for, because it's a whole nother level. And then the other stuff I do is exactly what I told you, today, the 3 steps of the paradigm. And the 3 steps of the paradigm is more impactful than sleeping on the pulsed electromagnetic field. But that's how they're doing sex attacks. That's how they're doing the stomach, nausea, a lot of effects that you experience that will be very rapid onset and go away very rapidly is the nanowalkers clumping in a certain area, being activated for a certain effect and going away. Because once they get activated, it's like they get burnt up and they're just, your body treats it like any trash, any cellular trash. Excuse me. All right. Hey, does anybody have any more questions about the 3 layers of wearables? How to put it together? Anything like that? Does anybody have any questions about any counterintelligence tactics or techniques that are being utilized in their environment?
Andrew, I do. I was in my car. I'm in my car right now, and this was the first time today that I saw like this array. I mean, like a little. Well, when if you were doing a presentation and you were the instructor and you had a pointer, you could just see a little line of a lighted line that's heading towards. You're directing it towards your presentation to point out something to the students. Anyway, I saw that like a lighted line into my car and kind of close towards my phone. I don't know what they were aiming at, but that was the first time I saw some kind of physical line. Do you know what they might have been doing?
Yeah, that's crazy you saw that. Most of the time it's out of the visible. Most of the time it's out of the visible range, so you can't see that. But my buddy Kenneth Grove is his name. He actually recorded the attacks. Man, if I was prepared, I would have that video ready to show you. But it's on Onionhead Andrew Rumble, and what it looks like is it was about, I think it's on the 2nd or 3rd page back. But what it looks like is almost like a focused spotlight, and like a very focused, and it'll come from a specific point, and it will move across that area and interact with whatever in its environment. But it is a directed energy weapon. If you wanted to, you could see his recordings of it. That's what I think it was happening, is that you visibly saw, for whatever reason. Was it twilight?
Yeah. Was that like just right after dusk?
Yeah, dusk. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of dusk. Yeah. So that makes perfect sense, because when the sun goes down, as it's going down, the energy, this is kind of out there, but it's true. The energy that it's emitting, it kind of shears the visible range. So like the way that the energy works is it disrupts the it's hard to talk about this. Either way, this is why people see ghosts and all that sort of things at twilight and dusk and first thing in dawn. There's always a huge interaction with people at those times because the sun coming up and down. So it makes sense that you saw it during that period. You can see different things that you normally can't.
Oh, that's really cool. And can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if I muted myself first. Thank you for that. Yeah, and how about back to the nanowalkers? Don't they have some kind of bacterial factor to them, or some biological thing as well as non-biological, where we might be able to kill it or deactivate? Yeah.
Yeah, no, potentially. I haven't figured it out, but I hope somebody does. The only thing I know that is reliably deals with them is pulsed electromagnetic fields. And even that's not perfect. There is workarounds that they can do to get around that.
I did a little research on that, Andrew, and the answer is sunlight, because there is an organic part to it. It's used for it comes from an Indian and Chinese plant, and they extract something from that. And I ask AI what's counter-indicative to things. That's how I use AI, and it says one of the things that's accessible is sunlight. Sunlight kills it.
Now, is it UV or infrared or what?
I think it was UVB.
Okay, yeah, I have.
I'll have to go back into my notes, but yeah, there are the three, aren't they? A, B, and C. But it just said I think it said UVB, possibly C, but I'd have to go back into my notes and check. But in general, it was sunlight.
Okay, so if one of us can figure that out, we could stop with if it was if it was UVB, they did stop it, right? Then you would shine UVB onto your wherever you're getting these sharp symptoms, like say sex attacks, that type of thing, and it would stop it if that was the case, because the nanowalkers would move into that space and they would get destroyed.
And I've also looked into using polarized light as well, so you can apply a filter to the light and polarize it, and that also helps it to be more effective. So I'm working with my black light, I'm working with light, sound, absolutely from every angle.
Oh yeah, please let me know how that turns out. That's great. Those are all great ideas.
Yeah, I'm using it on my...
Because I know I heard about special glasses for the LEDs.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm wearing the blue blockers right now. They're like orange lensed. But
are those the ones that also help with LED, the blue light from LEDs, or is it something else that you would get as well?
no, yeah, that's the one. When you're driving and you're dealing with those weaponized headlights, there's nothing better than the blue blocking orange lensed glasses like I'm wearing.
Okay, so what are they called, or how could I find them?
The whole brand of it is like the branding of these glasses is they're called BLUE blockers, blue blockers. All right, but many different companies make them. So this one I got was from Sleep ZM. These were, I just found them on Facebook Marketplace, but they work fantastic.
Great. So, and they're not the shaded polarized type thing. It's actually a clear. Because I'm not seeing you now, but I think I've seen you before with a tinted glasses, but not like shaded glasses.
Yeah, the lens is orange.
Okay.
They're not shaded.
Okay, so blue blocker, and you said the particular one you got was X what again?
It was Sleep, and then ZM.com, I think.
Thank you. I'll write that down.
You're welcome. All right, guys, we're nearing an hour and 45 minutes, give or take. Does anybody have any other questions? We keep going, obviously.
Speaking about lights, I have two questions actually. So I see a lot of the time my lights will flicker. I have V2K, and like I don't know what I hear during that, but is that some kind of like X-ray or something like that when your lights flicker?
Usually it's because during break-ins they've made them reactive to the directed energy weapons around you. I don't know what set of frequencies. But
okay.
Go ahead.
I've also seen like it's like the size of a pin dot. My eyes will be open or closed, and I can see a blue light, like a blue flash, like the size of like a pin. What is that? There's something like optogenetics or something like that. There's like I don't know.
I think that's the nanowalkers being flashed in your eyes, like being fried up in a second. I don't know, though. That's my guess.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I've been thinking about that for a long time myself. That's my best guess. I think that's how they're doing the dream. I hate saying manipulation because it's really not. It's influence. They're doing the dream influences is by getting certain images on our eyelids as we sleep. But I don't know. That's a pure guess.
If you run a blue light in your room, if you have a blue light running very close to you, you don't get those. A blue light will shield a lot of that.
Well, hey, Kate, that sounds like what you were just suggesting. Is that blue light the ultraviolet?
Yes.
Yeah, it can be Christmas lights. It can be a blue light bulb from Home Depot. It can be a blue filter over a regular light bulb. As long as the color is blue and it is all in your room, it will block some of those blue dots and bizarre blue wireframe images and things they do.
Have you used that while you sleep? And if you have, has it any effect on your dreams?
Yes, I have, and it has no effect on me.
Meaning
I haven't done it lately. I have not done it lately because I lost a lot of equipment, but when I can get back what I lost, I will set some more of that back up. But yeah, the blue light in your area helps you.
Okay, hey, thanks for that. That's great. That's great information. Gives me more to think about.
Hey, Andrew, any suggestions on what to do about windows to protect yourself from them attacking through home windows, please?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of ideas there. What's going on?
Nothing particular. I'm just getting settled in a new area, new home, and need to figure out, like, even the curtains, if there's a certain curtains or window film. I did have another TI friend of mine recently tell me there was a 3M application you could put on the window to help, with the attacking, or 3M could come apply it. But other than that, I don't really know. And didn't know if, like, the curtains, if you did get, like, blockout, like light blockout ones with that kind of material would be helpful. I have no clue on that, though.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this, and I want to meet you where you are. I really do, but it doesn't benefit you that much to look at the windows without doing the other things first. The other things are they're just so much more impactful. The other things being deactivating implants, getting the wearables built and wearing them, experimenting with them. I don't know when you jumped in here, if you caught all that. And then deactivating or detoxing nano. When you do those three things, it will benefit you so much more than focusing on the external. And if you think about it like this, you're working your way back, right? From influence back. So they're influencing your body right now at the innermost level or close to it. You're going to fight them from that point out. You're going to get your body under control, and then you're going to worry about your windows and your walls and whatnot, if you want to have the most effect with your efforts. Otherwise, there's many things you can do with your window that will help, but it won't really. They'll just find a workaround.
Okay, I appreciate it. This is Lori. You helped me last with the EMP. I'm still working on that. You troubleshooted. This is Lori with the Morgellons, So yeah. Thanks, Andrew. I just been refraining because I struggle to talk. I've been trying to get on your calls, but I just try to not talk too much because of my mouth condition and stuff.
Oh, I know, yeah, and you're probably getting hit pretty hard too, aren't you?
Yeah, I am 24/7. It's more of a vibrational state, and I have been using the TENS unit that does help to break up energy, but I need to get better on. I've been trying to incorporate that, like we talked about with routine, the EMP stun gun. I'm still working on my shower/bath to be able to detox better. Because right now I have to use more of a public area. So in the works, but thank you for the reminder on the paradigms. I totally wholeheartedly believe in that. And also the reminders on how to layer in the middle area too. So I look forward to trying those in this, like was discussed tonight, and seeing what kind of effect it has.
Okay, great. Yeah, and stay in touch, and we can continue working through it. The Morgellons is the nanowalkers and the nanomachinery, the confluence of the two, right? When it gets really, really bad, that's what we call Morgellons. And they'll do that. And then there's another layer to that too. They use insect vectors to bite you and stuff to give you more synthetic biology, and even potentially change your genes, your DNA, to produce the nanomachinery components within your own body. That's just what happened with the vaccine, by the way. That's the same exact thing. None of this is a death sentence, right? None of this is hopeless. It can all be fixed. You can be made well from any of these things. When you've got that really strong nano infection, it can feel pretty hopeless sometimes, but there are so many easy, simple workarounds to it. I said that a lot just now, but for example, Morgellons, or what we call Morgellons, is that heavy plaque of nanowalkers and nanomachinery coming together, usually on your skin, okay? The easiest thing you can do for that right now is to get a razor and start shaving. You can literally shave a lot of that plaque off. It clumps around your hair primarily from the follicles out, from the pore, of the hair, where your sweat comes out. That's where it first starts really clumping. So if you shave all your hair, you're destabilizing its structure. And if you use oil, like a mineral oil or a castor oil, something like that, when you shave, you'll even shave more of it off. It looks like rubber cement as you shave it off. You can literally see it on the razor.
Okay. And I think so, because I did shave my head. Sadly, I used to have really long, thick hair, and it's not as short as yours right now, but I did get
Oh, Lori, we lost your audio. It says no audio on the thing, too.
Well, that's why they voice to scold us in the shower to keep us from taking a nice, long, hot shower. The longer you are under the hot water, the better it is for your body. I wash my hair 3-4 times some days, and there's days when I can't get a brush through it, and I got to rip half my hair out of my head just to get a brush through it. She has the same problem, my girl. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, use the oils to clean your hair. That'll help you a lot if you don't want to shave it. What helps even more is just keeping it shaving all of your body. It helps tremendously. But like I said, if you don't want to do that, use oils. Tea tree oil. Someone just said that. Yes, tea tree oil is great. I prefer castor and mineral oil just because I can get it, and it's cheaper. And tea tree oil kind of burns a little bit, but it is good. It's very thin, but it's good for a lot of stuff. All right, hey Lori, obviously we lost you. Something happened there. Who wants to ask any questions? Go ahead, Kay.
Can I just remind people of the benefits of the vibrator machine? It sounds funny. The whole vibration thing. I've been using mine a little bit more, and it's really very, very beneficial. Somebody was asking about pains in the facial area, and fortunately, I've got one that's really old that I can sit on. It's one of those stand-up things, so I can rest the nape of my neck against these sort of handlebar things, and it vibrates my whole face, and it's relaxing, and I think it really it really disturbs the whole sort of the pains that you get around the ears and around the face, and it's very beneficial. So I just wanted to remind people of that.
Hey, thanks. That's great. The vibration plates, she's talking about those vibration plates. You can buy them off Amazon for anywhere between $60 to $200. I've actually got a really fancy one. I used to use it all the time. I bought it years and years and years ago. But what it's doing, when you stand on that shake plate or you put any part of your body on the shake plate, it's breaking up the heavy metal clumping underneath your skin, right? It's literally shaking it free. And then remember I said the heavy metals and nanomachinery is forming sinks or drains, right? Where they can pump the frequency in. So particularly if you're like getting hit in one area all the time, if you were to put that one area on the shake plate, you will get relief until the heavy metal clumps there again. Whether it's your feet are kind of special because there's such a backlog in your lymphatics of material moving down to your feet, but pretty much anywhere but your feet, and you'll get relief for anywhere between 10 minutes to a few hours, depending on the frequency and the amplitude of frequency in your environment. Because they no longer have that drain in that area, that sink, where they can dump the frequency into it, or the energy into it, excuse me.
And I wanted to mention something about hair and hair follicles. With the radiation attacks, your hair follicles are going to actually change. I'm melanated and my hair's curly, and well, it was curly. It's now actually poker straight because the hair follicles for people with curly hair are more sort of square or kind of crescent shaped, and for people with straight hair, they're round. And I found my hair has completely changed, and your hair is also it almost acts like an aerial. So people would notice a lot of falling hair and the change in the texture of your hair. So yeah, my hair is completely straight now, which is really strange for somebody that's had curly hair all their life.
Yeah, it is strange. There also is the nano walkers do play a part in that too. And they'll crawl and clump on your hair for a variety of reasons. Your hair is always like positively charged. It's always like a store of magnetic energy. It can very much aid in your targeting regardless of nano walkers or Morgellons or anything like that. It's interesting.
I used to have a lot of static electricity in my hair, and in my fingertips and everything, and it's all completely gone now. You know, if I blow dried my hair, it would just be electric and flying everywhere. But now it's just completely gone, which I'm sure, you know, it's connected to targeting.
Yeah, that's a great point, because it's all clinging to each other now because of all that magnetic charge it's storing. All right, guys, we're nearing 2 hours. Anybody's got any more questions? Now's the time.
Hey, Andrew, I have a quick question about being invisible. I'm kind of creeped out about them coming in invisible.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? Are they really physically coming in the invisible suits or material, or those shields? Like, can you accidentally run into them?
100%. 100%. I knew a guy, I mean, I've got my own story I could tell you, but I knew a guy who, he was in his another target. He was in the back part of his property. I think this was like 2015 this happened. He was walking around just doing his business. He lived in the Arkansas, in the middle of, I think the Ozarks are very near him. So it's a lot of oaks, you know, a lot of cover. And I think it was late fall. So there was a lot of leaf litter on the ground. This is important. He was walking through the leaf litter. he saw the leaf litter crunching down, and he was like, what the heck? He thought it was like a deer or something like this. This is before his targeting went over it. And he moved. I don't know if he had a gun on him or something, but a knife, something like that. He moved to intercept what he thought was some sort of game animal that he was probably going to kill and eat. And I can't remember if you just want to look at it or not. And he ended up stepping on someone's foot. And when he stepped on their foot, their cloaking dropped. Now, he didn't know how it happened or why. He just knew that there was no one there. He felt a foot. He stepped on it. He saw a face, and then he got knocked out. And he woke up like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours later in the exact spot. What had happened is that someone else, he saw the woman. That's who came to be, right? That's who was in the invisibility suit. Another person was right near them, hit him in the back of the head. He woke up, he needed stitches, the whole thing. Like evidence of it, it wasn't just like his schizophrenic, whatever. Not that I think you think that, but my own personal story is that I had heard this from this man on a YouTube video. He has since been canceled from YouTube a long, long time ago. I don't even know how to find him anymore. And I was looking for it in my environment. Eventually, I had been for years, but because I had break-ins, right? And things were getting tampered. I didn't know how. It didn't make sense. Also, middle of the night, I thought I heard people walking around. I lived in the basement at the time, that type of thing. So I was looking for it, and looking for it for years to prove if he was, right or wrong or whatnot. Eventually, I was doing renovations on another place that I lived after that, and I was in the backyard, and I had the window to my room open and the back door open. And what had happened is this person, well, I guess I'll say this afterwards. I was standing there making cuts with a power tool, and I look to my right, and I see a flashing image of a person. And I know exactly who the person is. I see their stature. This is the guy that I'm expecting wearing the invisibility suit. And there he was. He just flashed into my image for a second. Now, he did that to perturb me, to scare me. Because I think he thought that I wouldn't know how to react, or that I wouldn't think it was real, that my eyes were deceiving me. Now, I knew exactly how to react because I had been waiting for it. And I pretty much chased him. I called for my dad, who was doing the renovations with me. He didn't respond. I called for the other people I lived with. They didn't respond. At that point, which all took me about 10 seconds, I immediately started following this figure that I saw appear and disappear. At that exact moment, this man's wife started screaming like a wild banshee, right? Saw it was within 15 seconds. It's crazy, she starts screaming like a wild banshee. I continue looking for the guy because he had slipped off into the hedge line between our houses. He was the owner of the next house over. He was a human trafficker. He is a human trafficker. He's still at large. I know exactly who he is. He was my next door neighbor. He moved in specifically to traffic me and my family at that location. She calls for the food, right? Oh, I got a DoorDash order. She's screaming, ah, ah, ah. I got a DoorDash order. I got a DoorDash order. They delivered to your door. That's the only thing she could think of. So eventually, not seeing him, right, knowing I was safe, not seeing him, I engaged with her, which was a mistake. I should have kept looking for the guy, or maybe not. Maybe it was God protecting me, because who knows what would happen if I found him. I had a knife in my pocket. And this guy is like a commando. He was a previous military commando. Or whatever, something like that. And I look to my door. There's no food there. She never bothers me again. He scampers off. That's the end of my story. Well, that same type of event happened to me many times traveling. In Nicaragua, someone tried crawling on the roof of a hotel or a hostel I was staying in. There was an open courtyard. They jumped down. They were waiting outside my door for me to go outside for a cigarette, try to kill me. Didn't work, obviously. Another time they crawled on a metal roof and shot me with what I thought was a metal implant. Shot me through the metal tin roof, with what I thought was an implant. Pretty sure it was. So I've had many experiences with these invisibility suit people. The video on Onionhead Andrew Rumble is from Kenneth Grove, the same guy who captured the directed energy weapon strikes, captured also these guys walking around in invisibility suits. It's about a minute long. Like I said, it's on YouTube or Rumble. Check it out. It's very, very real. They run these operations most nights that they can get away with it. If they can get away with it, they will. They're literally, and this isn't to freak you out. This is just the truth. All right? None of this is to scare any of you. I just want you to understand the truth to better protect yourself. They rape women all the time wearing these suits, whether they're targeted or not. It's one of the big pastimes of these people. They'll drug them by break-ins. They'll poison their water or their food. They'll wait for them to fall asleep. They'll keep them asleep in a directed energy weapon influence with the heavy metal particulate. There's certain areas of the body you could target to influence that. They'll inject them with sedatives while they're sleeping, and they'll rape them. Now that happens to men too. That happened to a man I know. Okay, so this is something they do as often as they can. If you have any if you're in any environment where they could have access to you while you sleep, there's a variety of things you can do. The easiest thing you can do is you can take a tape, duct tape, scotch tape, anything that can really cling to something, and you turn your door lock, and then you put the tape over it. All right? When you do that, it gunks up the lock. So even if they pick it from the outside, they can't turn it. It stays locked. The only way at that point for them to go through the door is for them to break the door. They're not going to do that for obvious reasons. Now, that doesn't, obviously, you've got windows and stuff like that, so you're going to want to think about those things too, putting things in your windows. And if you don't have tape tonight and you're worried about it tonight, literally take your dresser, take something like that, move it in front of the door, all right? If you've got a dog, sleep with that dog in your room. Animals, cats and dogs, particularly dogs because they'll bark, but they can sense these people wearing the suits much, much better than us. So if you've got a dog, this is often why they try killing dogs, because they're trying to get access to you or your environment while you're sleeping for poisoning of your food, your air, your water, putting herbicides and pesticides on your walls. They'll do that during break-ins or even rapes and potentially murder. With all of that being said, you see a lot of things in television or like assassinations and stuff like that, like maybe the Charlie Kirk thing. I was talking about this last week. If he really was killed, and I'm not sure that he was. I think it was all a big ruse, to be honest, but I don't know. What do I know? You know, if he actually was killed, it was probably a man wearing an invisibility suit. That's how far this tech has gone. It's been around since the 80s.
So they could be standing next to you or 2 feet from you, and you technically will not see them. It's that.
Yes and no. It is that effective under the right conditions. They'll put they'll put a reflective material in the air to make it work better. Like they'll put the aerosols that they're already dumping around you, they'll add certain things to it, or maybe it's just in the aerosols all the time, and it makes them be near perfect cloaked. But that being said, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect system. So if there is fear of them being caught while you're awake, they very much will respect that, because it only takes one time and their whole human trafficking ring is fucked, right? So every time they're out wearing these suits, anything can happen. And they know this. A lot of them live for it, you know, to be honest. Actually, I got another one. I was in Mexico, and there was a former Canadian military guy. He was younger than me. Doesn't matter my age, but he was, I think, 25 or something like that. Short guy, stocky, strong, right? That's the type of bodies that usually get into the invisibility suits. So that when if it ever happens where they get stuck in an area because you locked a door behind you or something like that, or you've got guests that they didn't know about, you know, and it's the middle of the night, like your sibling shows up at 2 a.m., you know, or your spouse shows up at 2 a.m. when they shouldn't have been there, and you know, that was something like that, and they get entrapped in an area. the men usually, but sometimes women, wearing these suits, they need to be able to hold poses in weird positions, on couches, under couches, in closets, wherever they need to go. If you build the copper fans, the fans that with the copper on them, it's on the Rumble channel, it actually helps demagnetize the particulate, and they have issues getting that 100% or 99.9% invisibility that they want before they use them. It doesn't mean they won't go out and use them. It means that they'll be thinking twice. Now, if you pair that with cameras and then you position objects in front of the things that you're worried are going to be tampered, now you're really sailing, right? You want to create conditions which they do not benefit from using their invisibility suits, where the harm to reward level is so great against them that they don't want to do it, because it's risky behavior, right?
I'm pretty sure that I've had people in here. I've recently got some bedroom furniture which has a lot of that styrofoam, and it was kind of laying all over, and both me and my daughter woke up to sounds of styrofoam. I was like, oh, that must be my cat. No, my cat was curled up right next to us. So I looked at my daughter, and we were just like, like it was really obvious that somebody tripped over it. And it really freaked me out. Another time, my daughter wanted to get the mail, and I was literally sitting right here, and the door opened and closed again, like after she had gone out. And I asked my daughter, did you come back in and do anything? Because the door opened and closed again after you. And she said, no, I did not.
Sorry for interrupting you. Get a dog. Get a dog. If you can make sure that, one of you is always home, or that one of you is, you don't leave the dog alone, basically, because they'll kill dogs for this reason. There's almost no better protection, because if you get like some sort of, like I've got a pit bull terrier, he is so geared to protect, it's unbelievable, right? So if anything goes bump in the night, he's on edge, right? If anybody is moving around the house, he's on edge. So he can smell what you can't see. And he back when they were using the cloaking a bunch, he would sense them from behind the fence, just through trees and all that, bushes.
Well, my cat will come and jump up on me now and literally grab onto my shoulder, and her whole body will be iceberg cold. So what do you think that is? Because as soon as I, pet her and kind of rub her off, she calms down. So what do you think that is?
I think that's a whole different thing. If I had to guess, and it's just a guess, it's that animals in our near vicinity are breathing the heavy metal particulate too, and it makes your body temperature cold. If any of you have ever experienced this, when you're not being attacked in that moment, you'll actually be cold from having this in your lymphatics.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome. Okay, hey, we're nearing 2 hours and 10 minutes. Has anybody got any other questions? All right. Okay, so I'll leave it just for another minute. If anybody wants to say anything, now's the time.
Thank you. I was just wondering, how did you say you used the tape on the door to help stop the entry? You just talked about, or something.
Yeah, you need a door that can lock, and you just put the tape right over the lock, and you gunk it up in there. So you press it up in there, and then you make sure that you can't turn the lock. And then from the outside, when they go to pick it, they still can't turn it.
Okay, so you gunk it up and tape it on the inside so that they can't get the outside.
Yep. So when they go to break in, usually this is how they do it. Great question. Usually how they do it is they break in through a door, and then they'll leave either through the door or the windows, right? They'll have one entrance that's easy for them. So they can potentially, they could do it uncloaked, they could literally so it just look like someone's entering a house, and then they'll leave, through whatever. So it's always 1 in, at least 2 out before they do it. So just keep that in mind, where this 1 in and 2 out would be.
Okay. What does 2 out mean? 1 in, 2 out. Oh, number 2, when they're leaving. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Well,
thank you so much.
Oh no, that's not what I meant. But that one entrance way in, like 1 way into your environment, and always 2 ways out. If they don't have 2 ways, they won't do it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Unless they're just that type of psycho. Sometimes they're that type of psycho. You know, they want to die, and they want to rape, and they want to die, right? And like one or the other is going to happen eventually. So they're just rolling the dice every day, which is a lot of these people that wear the invisibility suits.
Okay, thank you so much, and you have a good evening.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's a really dark, disgusting thing going on right now with all of this stuff.
Hi, Andrew. I just have a question. Is it the infrared light that can pick up if they're wearing the invisible suit?
Okay. Well, probably, maybe. I don't know. An infrared camera? Maybe. I don't know. But yeah. The way Kenneth got it was he actually used low light, very cheap security cameras. And he caught them. He always catches this stuff at twilight and dawn, because of what I was talking about earlier.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, just get yourself some cheap cameras if you live in a house. And if you live, you know, where there's only one of you, or you don't have a dog, or there's 2 of you, you guys sleep at the same time, that type of thing, don't be afraid of aiming some cameras in. You know, like aiming cameras at the console that the cameras are being projected at to protect your cameras. You know? That type of thing. And, you know, people, and you know, a big part of this is that, like, we need, as survivors, we need to get over the thought of other people judging us. I mean, if they could only comprehend how, excuse my language, fucking crazy all of this is. You know, how many times people have tried killing me, right? And you as much as we say these things to these people that are close to us, right, they'll never understand it. And it's like the way I've dealt with it is like I just stopped caring. You know, the people that do understand it a little bit are people that have moved forward with me. And the people that don't understand it don't want to understand it. At this point, they all know, all my friends and family know that I've got this Rumble channel, YouTube channel. They can all go on and look at it as much as they want and try to figure out, call me crazy or not. But they don't. It's too scary for them. So I just, you know, I leave it there. It's like, if you want to know, here it is. If you don't, then you don't have to. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be losing sleep over your judgment, because you have no fucking idea what it's like to survive, right? Most of them have no idea, absolutely no idea. And the few people in your life that do have an idea of what it means to survive, if they were deployed or if they were in prison or something like that, they still don't fathom how crazy this is every moment of every day.
Can I just add something to that as well, Andrew? In that same vein, with targets, fear is almost acceptance. So people have really got to, if they have any fear, they've really got to work on it and get rid of it. Fear is acceptance. It's consent to it. Once you start curling up in a ball or diving into a bottle of alcohol, you know, you're almost helping them. So you really have got to get rid of the fear.
That's a great point. That's a fantastic point.
It is very scary. I mean, you don't really touch on the psychological aspect of it and the effect of it on somebody's psychiatric health, you know, but it's there. You know, and I find that being you know, stronger, whether it's in your faith or whatever you believe in, whether you believe in yourself, that's definitely going to help you. You know, that attitude that you know, I am not going to be overtaken by this at all. I'm not going to let this beat me. I'm going to fight back. You might as well die fighting, right? Die on your feet.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a whole generation of people that should never ever have to deal with any of this, and it's up to us, right? That's the way I look at it. I live with kids. My family's been targeted. This is the second generation of this targeting. It's going to stop here. It has to stop here. It just has to. And if I'm going to do everything I can until I can't anymore. And to what Kay was saying about fear, 100%, it is going to creep up on you. It is going to try to keep you in stasis, right? To keep you confused and undirected and not moving. And it's really, just like Kay was saying, it's really up to you. You really need to power through it, one way or the other. I personally, when I get into that state, I do a variety of things, but the primary thing I do is I slow down and I enter prayer. You cannot put the value measure on slowing down and entering prayer. It is so good to do. It's unbelievable. All right.
Andrew, just a really quick question. Does remote neuromonitoring play any role in retargeting?
Yeah, but it's one of those squishy subjects that's like so drenched in, just disinformation, and a lot of it's not relevant, even if it is not lies, that it's so hard to piecemeal through that I wouldn't be able to really talk about it. That's why I don't. But yes, okay. There is a software component to all of this.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys. I really appreciate everyone being here. As always, this is a gift from God for me being able to present this information to you. And I thank every single one of you for being here. If you have the chance, act on some of this information. Learn how to ski, right? We've just talked about skiing. Now you go out there and you go down these and slalom yourself. Go down the Black Diamond, whatever, because that's what we're on. It's a very challenging thing to go through, and I will never say otherwise. So it's been a pleasure. I appreciate all of your time. And with that being said, may God have mercy on us and may God bless us.
Tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweet, 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 tweet. Ooh, 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 ooh.